I never really know if this thing is actually live until it's shows up on my screen here. So I'm just waiting for it to show up. I know that there's a little bit of a delay, but it should work. There we go. Welcome. I'm Kavira, go home. Like that. Welcome to Third Rail Thursday. Yeah, we're gonna have some fun tonight, and you might catch some wonderful fall colors tonight if you're lucky. And basically, I'll be working on something that I've kind of been chipping away at for the last couple of weeks or so. I haven't done too much on the layout. And that's mostly because I got a new job within my current employer. So I've just, there's been training, you know. So I've been very busy. My brain is basically mush at this point. So yeah, and it's still ongoing too. So that's been, you know, the last several weeks for me. So yeah, so I'm gonna show you what we'll be working on, because I've got this neat little thing that this neat little trick that I found, and I'll tell you more about that in a bit. Definitely will be good for those budget modelers who do not like to spend a lot but still like to get a nice looking layout, I guess you could say. But before we do, of course, I want to say hi to everybody who has taken the time to show up like they do every Thursday, whether you're here, you're over on Mark's channel, or you're on Denny's channel, because we're Third Rail Thursday. So John Train gets the cookie, or sorry, the Timbit. John, I hope you like Timbits. Dave Hughes, how's it going? I don't think he'll be willing to share the Timbits, but maybe he will. Who knows? Eminem Rails has been keeping us posted because I don't know what's wrong with the time schedule thing on this thing. I don't know. I set it for 7 because I have to go earlier today. Normally it's 8 o'clock, but here I am. It just means I'm going to finish earlier. That's all. That's all it means. Brian Ferguson, how's it going? And Trackside Mike, how's it going? Welcome everybody, welcome. Mike catched my 3 p.m. show where I gave away some locomotives. Well, if you hated that show, then you're really gonna hate this show. No, there was no 3 p.m. show. For some reason, like I set it for 7 o'clock, and then that was like yesterday or the day before. And then I came back to it today and it said 11 o'clock. But everybody was saying it was showing 3 o'clock on the computer. So I don't know. I can't win. I'm not meant to win. I just do a little bit better each time. That's how I roll. And Scale Dystopia. Denny's here. How's it going, Denny? Some Possum. How's it going, Brad? Canadian Locomotive Logistics. How's everybody doing out there? I'm using voice. Did you spell my name wrong? See, anybody's trying to get my hot tub. Yeah, just in time for that cold weather, right? Oh my gosh. Ronald, how's it going, Ronald? Lord Nick, how's it going? Ooh, and I just highlighted everything because I'm doing everything with my left hand for some reason. Floyd, how's it going? We actually hit a milestone the other day, believe it or not. I know it's weird. I don't have too many milestones, but you know, when I hit a milestone, it's pretty good. So you guys know that every day since the beginning of July, so it was July 1st, I have posted a new short every single day, and it's basically me adding a car to my layout. And every 10 days, I don't know if you've caught it, but every 10 days on the 10th day, I replace said car with a locomotive, showing off kind of my locomotive roster. People have asked, oh, why don't you do this, but like locomotives? Well, it would last about a month because I don't have a lot of locomotives. I know there's some guys who have like so many locomotives, but I have like, you know, a month's worth. So I like to sprinkle in the cars every so often. But anyways, back to the milestone part. I hit the 100th video just the other day. So 100 days of adding a car to my layout. Would I do anything differently? Probably not. But if you guys ever want to get into the statistics side of that, a lot of the stats and, you know, the benefits of doing something like that, what I find helps, what I find doesn't help, maybe we can talk about it at a later time. I know a lot of people are often talking about, well, like, why am I not getting subscribers? Why am I not growing? You know, there's a lack of content out there. You know, if it's something that you ever want to hear like the breakdown of, and it's not even a bragging thing, it's just, you know, that kind of stuff interests me. It doesn't really have much to do with model railroading, because you can do this literally with any topic. So, you know, it's something that I find it interesting. And is YouTube lying to you? That's the other thing. I think that YouTube could be lying. So, yeah, it would make for an awesome conversation someday. But back to the layout. So this is the section here that I've kind of been humming and hawing over because it's such a dull section, and it's actually right behind me here. It's at the edge of the paper mill. It's a curved backdrop, and you can kind of see the backdrop is spliced there, which is okay, but when you're looking at it from, you know, a normal point of view and not where the camera is, it looks okay. You don't really see that line that's there. Give me 1 second. I had too many cars on on my locomotive, so I got stuck in the reversing loop. Anyways, so in this section here, like, what do you do? What do you do? The one thing that I didn't have really for this section was a parking lot. So I'm gonna kind of show you this here. So it is a weird shape, not gonna lie. Definitely a weird shape. So I had started out with some paper. I know it looks kind of weird, right? So I took some white paper and I laid it in the general area where I wanted to put the parking lot, right? And this is all backdrop here. This is the shape of the backdrop and the curve, and then the front of the building and the side of the building. So this is the general shape that I basically got. And you're going to just have to disregard this part. I went a little bit wider here. Because then I took foam core board, which again, it's like $1 or $2 from the dollar store. And I cut a general shape, right? Just like that. See how that fits there? So I had hacked it off. And this is basically the shape that I had landed on here for this. Now, the only thing I don't like about foam core board is basically when you paint it, and this is painted, I did paint it with this stuff here. So this is the Woodland Scenics top coat, and it's asphalt, because I just wanted like a nice, clean, paved parking lot. So I just put some of this down, which is fine. But what happens here is that basically it curves the foam. Like it absorbs into this. It absorbs into it, and then it started bending kind of upward. So I had to bend it back down, and it seems to be holding pretty good. So then I needed to piece it together a little bit more, just to kind of, give it a bit more life, right? I'm not going to leave it just like this. It would look weird. So I went digging through my bits and my parts and whatnot, and I have some extra fencing. This is the Woodland Scenics fencing, and I had a whole bunch of this from my old layout. So it really didn't cost me anything because I've had this stuff for a while now. And the fencing is really good. This is the wooden fencing, and it's great because you can see it's kind of pre-weathered. It's painted and it's pre-weathered. You cut it to fit, and then you can glue it down. So that's what I did. But before I glued it down, I added some graffiti. So as you can see, I got the hoser, and then I had found a picture on some rolling stock. So I like to go through some of my rail fanning videos, and when I see something, because I like to take a lot of pictures of graffiti as well. So I'm not that talented, but I was able to kind of replicate this onto the side of the fence there and add some color to it, which is really cool. And then I've got a little, that's Shy Guy from Super Mario. Makes for a cool little, graffiti thing. But the one thing here that I want to show you, it's not really the graffiti or the fence. It's this little viney tree bush thing, or whatever you want to call that. And that only cost like $1 to make. And I'm going to show you, I'm going to take you through that process here, just so you can see how you can achieve something like that. And I'm probably going to add it maybe here or over here at some point. Now, before I show you that, though, I'm going to show you some of the other stuff that's on here. So you guys remember the second level of my layout, my last layout. There was a long highway, and on that there was a long stretch of guardrail. Now, sometimes you'll see guardrail in parking lots against areas where, well, you don't want the car, just in case a car hits it, you don't want it to damage what's on the other side. In this case, you don't want it to damage the fence, and you don't want it to go where the trains are, right? So I put some guardrail here, and that's by Rick's Products. And it's a pretty big piece that I had, so I was able to cut another piece for over on this side as well. So, yeah, just got both. Another thing I have, which I still have to attach, this is just some styrene that I've painted a concrete gray color. And I'm going to attach that as well at some point here. But I wanted to do a raised section so I can put grass or some sort of vegetation, maybe a picnic table or something, so that, if you're eating lunch. But typically, if you're modeling a paper mill, you got to remember the smell of paper mills are terrible. You could be like a few kilometers away and still smell it. It's gross. I don't even know what it is, but it's gross. So normally you wouldn't have people eating or whatever outside the building. They'd be like, get me out of here. Unless they're really used to it. But yeah, so I made a little area here that's raised by concrete. But I'll probably put like maybe a tree in there or something. The other thing that I do have for this, as you probably saw me take off here, I got a sheet when I was in Springfield. Mike and I went shopping, and we were looking around, and we found this one guy that was selling a whole bunch of different sheets. And this is, it's paper thin, but it's like I don't know what type of finish. It's like a semi-gloss. There's a bit of a shine to it, which kind of throws it off a little bit. But parking spaces, right? You can just throw this whole thing on here and do it as parking space, but I wanted to kind of cut it up a bit. And I'm doing something like this here, where I'm going to have these parking spaces. Ooh, I could put that right over there. Okay. And then this one here, Don't tell me it stopped again. I don't know why everything's always stopping over there. That bugs me. But yeah, do something sort of like that. And that way there's those parking spaces. And then because of the contour here, I'm going to add these spaces, but I want to make sure I glue it first, and then I'm going to cut out that contour, right? Yeah, okay, there we go. So basically, I still have to glue that down, but that's kind of what it's going to look like. So I'm pretty happy about that, and because it's turning out really well, I think. So we'll see what happens. Oh, Dennis, thank you so much. Oh, and we got. I guess I got to catch up in the chat here. Jeez. Yeah, my thing stopped for a moment there. Ronald, and then Willow Creek. Hello. Kenneth, I think I just said hi to you. SMT Mainline, how's it going? So, yeah, the dollar coat is neat. I'd like to do a dull coat, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue the parking spaces down first, and then I'll most likely sponge a lighter version of this color here. So I'll probably add a bit of white to it, make it lighter, and then kind of sponge over it to blend it a bit more. Just because obviously you can see that there's quite a difference there in the color, right? So that kind of throws it off a little bit. But what I'll end up doing is that because it's going to the back of the layout, you probably won't see all this that much. All you're going to see, if I take that off for a minute, because that's going to fall anyways, all you're going to see is roughly about this. You won't even see these front parking spaces here. I'm just doing it because if I don't do it, it's going to bother me. So it's really going to bother me. But yeah, so sprinkle it a little bit in the back there, use a sponge and just kind of sponge it down over all of it. Those lines are very bright as well. It'd be fine if I was doing a whole parking lot with this exact sheet. You just cut it out and make it fit. But because I have to, use both, it makes it a little bit more difficult. But I'll show you once it's done. But again, the big thing here was the bush. So this is an idea. I saw it, I think it was MRR Plus, something like that. They share little tips and tricks here and there. So I'm not taking credit for this. This isn't me. But I'm going to do my version of it. So this is twine. We all know twine. We use it for stuff. I don't normally use twine. I have no use for twine. Except for when I bought trees and I had to spray paint them brown. So I had a twine line hanging in my garage from one side to the other, and I would pin up my super trees upside down. Other than that, it cost me $1.25. And how much? It's 150 feet. So just think of how many trees you can make with 150 feet. So it's pretty crazy. So this, I'll show you the process here. This is how I do this. So I cut about 7 inches. Now, if you're going to go up a building, or you want to do something more elaborate, that's totally fine. But just if you're doing something small, like what I did with the front of the fence there, I only did a 7-inch piece. So because we're going to unwind this and untwine the twine, what I like to do is I take some white glue and I cover one end of that. So this piece here, it almost feels like, the end of your string for your hoodie. This piece here where it's like plastic. So we're doing that basically to the end of the string. No, I've got a couple that are, so I've done that to a couple, right? So that's the first step. Cut to 7 inches, and then you want to glue your tip just so that it doesn't come completely apart. Hey Anthony, how's it going? The second step is basically untwining it, because this, and I'll show you here, I'll do it with one of these that are already glued. Basically, if you kind of twist it, it is twined, it's twined together. So we can get about 4, and I don't know if every brand of twine is different, but you can basically get that kind of look just by undoing it. And you can take this right down to the glue if you wanted. You can do one, untwine one way longer than the other. These are just branches, right? So you're just creating a different look for each one, because every single one is different. No two trees look the same. So that's basically, you're untwining it, that's what you get, something like that. And you still got just a lengthy base that you can either put into the ground or tuck under something just like that. Or if you need to cut the end, just add a bit more glue to where you want it and then snip off that extra. And then you're basically left with something like this. Now, when you untwine it, the twine itself, and 10 points for every time I say twine, right? So you take your twine and you can spread that apart even further. Your branches have branches. And again, you're doing them all differently. You don't want to do all your trees the exact same. So, and again, I mean, you could do a tree, but you would need like wire for this just to make sure that it's different. Kind of like, have you ever seen Sparky do his willow trees? Kind of the same thing, but only this is much smaller and a much smaller scale. It does kind of look voodoo, doesn't it? But yeah, so you end up with something like this. And that it takes, a couple of minutes. You saw me do that. It takes a couple of minutes to do. The next step is the paint. So I really like camo brown. Camo brown seems to be that good color that I used to use it on my ties. I'll use it on my super trees, and I'll even use it on my bush or my bushels and stuff like that. So before I paint it, I usually take my scissors and I'll, do some pruning, right? I become an arborist at that point. And, I make them all different lengths and I put them in every which direction. And, it gives it a very basic shape, right? More or less. I don't know if you can see that. Let me see it. But yeah, so basically, and then you spray it brown. I do all my spraying outside, so that's why I didn't do that as a demonstration here for you. But basically, yeah, so you do that. So just to kind of revise this here. So, 7 inches of string, you glue the end, just one end. The end that you don't glue, you peel it apart. You get your, tumbleweed-esque kind of thing. And then you take it outside where there's lots of ventilation, and then you spray it brown, right? Cool. This is where, at this point, you can jazz them up a little bit, or you can just use, woodland scenics. For me, I have so much of this super leaf left over. Even after all those trees that I did with that big box of super trees from Springfield, I still have so much left. One of these goes a really, really long way, especially if you're not like extra with it. And I like to use both. I've got the lighter green, which is SE6123, and the medium green, which is SE6133. So both of these I find are really good. And obviously, it depends on the time of year you're modeling and whatnot. Is this a dead tree? Is it, is it full? Is it lush? Who knows? So when I use the super leaf on my trees, and I don't know if I want to do this part live, but I guess you guys want to see this too. The proof is in the pudding, right? I got to do this part live too. Otherwise, it's like, Chris, what are you doing? You called me here for nothing. Okay, fine. I'll do it. Only because you asked nicely. Dennis, I like brownies. Just saying. Okay, so I'm just kind of loosening this stuff up in here. So the super leaf is really good. You don't have to spend a lot to get, realistic looking trees, beautiful looking trees. Some things you can't skip out on though. Like I said, you can use your shaker flock. You can go with something a little bit thicker. This stuff here is the fine turf. You could use something like this, I guess. I think that's what they used. But, Superleaf, the bag itself, I think they were like $10, $10 American, or $9.99 American, something like that. Regardless. Herbal Care Hairspray, Flexi Hold. Again, you can get this stuff from the dollar store. Yeah, brownies don't ship well, and they wouldn't last long once they got here. So this is just hairspray. And because it doesn't smell terrible, I'm just going to spray it off camera here because I can. I just want to fold these down a bit because they seem... Do I like the other one more? Shoot, I don't even know. You know what? I think I want this one instead. Okay. Yeah, we're going to do this one. Sure. I'm not going to regret this. Okay. Or I could do both. See, because that's the other thing, right? You can combine these and then make your own version of a super tree. You just got to obviously glue the base a little bit better. But anyways. So, spraying it with the Herbal Care. Right? So you're just spraying the tops here. And now, if you remember it all, I used to do some lives every Sunday where I would work on stuff, like kits and stuff. And this is one of those things that I did one day. Actually, there was a couple of episodes where all I was doing was making trees. Because I was trying to fill out a whole area of my layout. So once I put some on there, I will give it another spray. Because it will hold it. You can kind of see them gathering there. And then maybe you'll want to turn the tree around, because right now I'm only really hitting the one side. I know it's fall and I'm busy putting leaves back onto trees. Shows where my mind's at, right? Oh. Okay, so Yeah, I'm gonna hit the back side of this one now. Cool thing about trees and doing trees is that, I mean, I've never seen a perfect tree. There's never been a perfect looking tree. Like, I've never looked at a tree and said, that there is a perfect tree. So why should I look at trees on my layout and feel the same way? You know what I mean? So with this here, they don't have to be perfect. They just have to look believable. And again, it was, you know, $1 for the string and, you know, whatever, $10 for this. But, like, I already had this laying around, so it didn't cost me anything. Same thing with this. Paint, I always have paint, so. Okay, so that's good. So what I normally do, because the spray paint, or not the spray paint, the hair stuff, the hairspray, is wet, so you want it to dry. But you can kind of see how that looks, right? It's got a good look to it. You don't want, obviously, leaves down here. You want it near the ends. And you can do this with several. You can attach it to a building and then put the white glue along where the branches are and then sprinkle it all on, shake it off, you know, let that dry. But this is just one version of this, right? This is just how I'm doing it. I find that it worked well for me, so that's why I'm sharing this with you. So where's my, got some pins, yeah, here they are. So of course you also want to let it dry. I'm just using a weighted ruler here. This is weighted. And I'm going to let it dry. And then all this extra goes back into the bag. So yeah, so $1. And then obviously once it dries, I did take some white glue and I put some glue here and I attached it, right? I did this whole thing where you you glue it to there, and I had it taped and I had pinned it. And then you run your things here, your branches, along the actual, you know, because they're like vines, right? So you just run them along there and it makes it look a little bit more realistic. And that's why I've got the tree here and it just kind of hovers over. They kind of moved it away so they could do their spray painting. And then that's just overgrown on that side. So I had fun doing it. It's, you know, it's a very inexpensive little project and you can do it as much as you want, as little as you want. It doesn't really matter. It's your layout anyways. But, so I'm just going to add this now. And for the parking lot, so I've got this. This is just your regular old styrene. It's flat on one side, but it's almost like a little square grid on this side. And it gives you your straight lines, both this way and this way, vertical and horizontal. I don't know if you guys can even see that because it's just so white, right? Lighting isn't the best, but whatever. So anyway, so I cut it one square tall. And then obviously I made an even amount of squares on both sides there to make that, you know, it's a little bit longer this way and then shorter that way. But yeah, that's kind of what I've been doing lately. It's just a lot of little projects like this, trying out a couple of different things. I'm not sure how excessive my layout build is going to be right now. Well, you know what? That's not going to work. So I'm trying to do what I can to kind of just work on little projects. This is what I like doing. Yeah, you can use it to form the branches. It's not like, because it is only twine, it's not very strong in the sense that, you know, you can create a tree with what, you know what I mean? Like, it falls over. It's you know, wet spaghetti basically. But in the sense where if you're doing a vine or you're doing some sort of, I guess, ivy as well, you could probably do somewhat of an ivy going up, you know, the side of a house or some version of that. What is the rectangle for? Well, if you were paying attention instead of, you know, doodling in your notebook. No, the square part here, this thing that I'm working on right here, this is basically just, it's in the parking lot. So it's like a raised area that's going to have, I'll probably put some grass in there. You know, just to kind of split the parking lot up a little bit so it's not a complete concrete paradise. And of course, white glue takes forever to dry. So there's that. But I'll show it to you in the corner once I get a bit more of this done here. Okay, yeah, that's good. So let's go to the corner here. Because I'm sure you're wondering what it's going to look like. But when you're looking at it from a, you know, trained perspective, I guess, kind of, you know, doing this whole thing, right? Like I said, you probably won't see the, you know, the backdrop, or not the backdrop. Well, yeah, the backdrop in that one side where it was like, you know, two pictures kind of slopped together. And of course, like when I put the whatchamacallits in there, the parking spaces, you know, you'll barely see that. So I'm just doing it obviously just to add a little bit of detail. Doesn't have to be anything too funky. But yeah, just then, you know, of course there'll be ballast in front of that as well, and we'll blend it. We'll blend it real well. Thanks, Dennis. All good, Mark. I'm not as good as Bob Ross. Bob Ross, you know, he knows his stuff. Me, I just show up. So here's the funny thing, and it's like, I know a lot of people like using Hot Wheels cars for their layout, and that's totally fine because, you know, I've often done the same. It's not a big deal. Again, your layout, your rules, right? But when we get into things like you know, using something like this parking lot, and I'm going to show you here as well. So this is the parking lot sheet that I have. this is my Mitsubishi Lancer Evo Hot Wheels. You know, pretty cool. I usually have this over on my bridge over there. This, I don't want to be that guy parking in that parking lot and then having everyone else around me mad, right? But yeah, that's way bigger than what you would normally, you know, have in the space, right? So there's that. Then there's this little truck. This is HO scale. I have no idea what brand this is, and I'm sure it says, but can I read it? No, it's too small to read. That seems a lot better, right? Because you'd be right up at the front there. You know, the lines go at least, you know, halfway. I'm sure if you pull all the way up, you're more in the space. But what'll happen is that because I've got the bumper there at the front, there is going to be a bit of an overhang at the back. So once you put the cars in the spaces, it won't matter, because you know you're just filling out a parking lot, you're giving it life, you're showing that people do come and go from here. So, you know, getting a couple of cars to fill in your parking lot, a couple of those empty spaces as well, definitely does help. Just gonna bring this back over. Now, it's not entirely flat. And even though I put the fence on and I had to do like 2 or 3 inches of this fence at a time because I used white glue, I basically had to put weight on the fence and then also keep it standing up and then use white glue. And then once it dried, move down, you know, a few inches, done the same thing, etc., etc. But when I go to actually put this into place, I'll put hot glue on the bottom, both sides, weight it down, and it'll hold, and you know, it won't go anywhere or anything. So that'll be what I do for this. And of course, I'm going to have to wait for this to dry as well. Yeah, I'm just going to use the white glue. I don't want to put too much because I don't want it to bubble up. So I'm just going to spread it out, spread it thin. Just get rid of any extra. But you can hear it. It's like it's not just plain paper. There is a bit of a gloss to that. So now that that's on there, just take the scissors. again, most of this you won't even notice because it's behind a fence anyways. But I'll know it's there, so that's the important thing, right? Which one was it? Was it this one? No, it was this one. Pretty sure it was this one. Yeah. It's, I don't know what it is. It's like it was printed, but you know, because it's almost like photo paper. I want to say it's photo paper because there is, like, you can see a shine to it, which really throws me off. I hate that part of it. Otherwise, I'd just draw on my own lines. But like I said, what I'm going to do is once I'm going to glue these down, let it dry, and then I'm going to come back with a lighter version of that color. So the concrete color, but lighter. And I'm going to sponge it on, and I'm going to blend it. And it should look better. Question mark. So, regardless, it's at the back of the layout, like I was showing. So, to see it is like, can you see it? Probably not. Now, I also have a telephone pole somewhere. Well, I know I have a bunch of telephone poles. I just have to find them. And once I do, I'll let you know. Because I'd like to add a telephone pole as well. This is probably one of those sections where there'd be so much detail. But it's like, it's near the back and it's hidden. But that's okay, because again, I'll know it's there. Now, this is gluing down really well. I'm surprised at how well the paper glues down. I don't know. Should I be surprised? I don't know. Regardless, it's going down. It's not folding. It's not, it's staying where I want it to stay, basically. This is all I'm trying to say. And I like how that looks, where you've got the, the fence, and then you've got that. If I can fit the telephone pole in there, I will squeeze it in behind the thing, and just, I don't actually want it to light up. Everything else lights up. I don't need this to light up in particular. I like to lit my buildings just in case I do want to do that in the future. This is just like a little static display, almost like not a module, but a diorama. That's the word I'm looking for. So it's like a parking lot diorama. And, I don't think it'll ever be anything more than that. Also, part on the layout, but you already knew that. So if I'm looking at the car's here, car comes in, car comes like this. Yeah, so I'd want it about there. Can I mark it? Yeah, okay, good. It's nice to actually bring this whole thing together now, because I've been piecing it out for like a few weeks or so, and doing odd little things here with it, but it's all just been sitting, so for it to now come together and look full, I guess. Let's see. You join the rectangle. It would be raised cement platform displaying grass or flowers, a statue of Yoshi. Yoshi. If you were modeling Ancourt instead of a car comes in here like this, you would be saying Asian woman looking at her cell phone drives her Mercedes. Well, we'd hope that whoever drives in this parking lot, knows how to park a car, I guess. Like for me, not the best swimmer, so I just stay my, butt at the pool. That's about it. I don't think I need to do this, but I'm going to do it anyways. Just to hold it in place. And then what I want to do next... Haven't used this in a while. It's been a minute. How does this work again? I do stuff with things. Okay, yeah, there we go. Okay. Yeah, there's stuff in there, so that's good. Something metal. I thought I had pins or something around here. Every truck at the mall. Is this the stuff I was looking for? I guess so. What color is that? I'm pretty sure, yeah, this is my dirt. I don't know why this stuff is so clumpy. Yes, it's the cat litter box. You guys are crazy out there. Why? Why won't that come off? You have one job and it's to be a lid. Okay, well, switching lids. Will this come off? Nice. Oh, sure. Now that doesn't come off. There we go. I'm having all sorts of luck tonight. Oh, by the way, this is 50-50 water and glue, just in case you were wondering. 100% glue, 50-50 water and glue. Ian Ironwood, how's it going? Anthony, how's it going? Need my, I don't know if there's a battery in it or not, but I'm going to try something. Oh yeah, it works. It's funny because when I did the review video on this, people were like, that thing's garbage. And I'm like, is it though? Mind you, I think I dropped it and I broke the, you know, the thing that holds this. Regardless. Seems to, whoop. There's even a flashlight. Why is there a flashlight on this thing? In case you want to vacuum and be stealthy and vacuum in the dark. Cool. I'll clean that up a bit more once it dries, but yeah, it looks alright. Needs a tree though. Definitely needs a tree. Yeah, it's not bad at, whoops, not bad at all. Let's take a look again here. Again, it's all about them visuals, right? You just gotta, if it looks good, then you feel better about it. Gotta see it in action. Gotta see what this is gonna look like, right? That's not too shabby. And it actually sits a lot flatter than what I thought it would. So I'm pretty impressed with it. I think I might have done something right, guys. So another thing that I like here is that because it is raised up, and yeah, it's only raised up a little bit because of the, the platform that you're using. It blends the background really, really well, and it hides a lot of those, unfortunate, kind of, the cracks or that area between the backdrop and the flat area of your layout, Thanks, guys. Thanks. I almost want to start a movement for all the for all the fellow, hosers out there, because I did a bit of a graffiti there. I kind of want to see everyone else's, showing their support and whatnot. If you want, to hashtag hoser, do a little hoser graffiti on something. It could be on a car or a building. In this case, it's on a fence. But tag me, hashtag hoser, and we'll share some in the future there if people get involved. If people want to start a little bit of a trend there, that'd be cool. I know we often do the a whole train of cabooses, a whole train of tank cars. I want to change it up a little bit. Hashtag hoser. Let's see that graffiti. You don't have to be pro. I'm not pro, but I think you guys can do like a, something small. It doesn't have to be some massive thing. Thanks, guys. It's one of those things you just got to do it. And I was talking to Denny about this a few weeks back, and he had mentioned that he can't sit and think about it. You just got to do it, and like it's something that we both agree on, right? It's if I sit there staring at a piece of my layout, nothing would ever get done. And that's kind of what happens. And I've let it happen to me before. You're like, I don't know what to do. Should I do this? Should I do that? I don't know. What color would I do it? I don't know. Just do it. Whatever comes up, Do everything on the fly. Not everything, but most things. Things that, you think that you're going to sit there and you're going to think about for hours on end. Don't let it consume you. Just do it, So, no hashtag Yoshi. I don't think Nintendo doesn't play nice with others, But if I put a Shy Guy on there, then it's all good. They won't even know. It's a terrible representation. If I said, "Hey, who's this character?" you guys would be like, "I don't know." But he's just hanging out at the back there. I do have this other tree that I do want to put on there, but I do want to wait for it to dry. I guess I can show you what else I've been working on as far as with this, because I can kind of make some of this a little bit more permanent now, because that was just a little project for tonight, but I've got more that I can do. It's only 8:10. I got about 20 minutes or so left, because I don't want to go all night. I like to share time. And I just wanted to go earlier tonight because the way my schedule has been lately, and just to kind of give you a rough idea of how things have changed for me exactly, it's like the training that I've been doing for the new position that I'm in, it's a lot better. But training is 8 till 4. So I'm up way earlier than I normally would be. So that was tough to get used to. And it was a tough adjustment. It is what it is. And then you've got James, who's up at like 6 a.m. And then, Perry, whenever we go rail fanning, Perry's there at like 4 in the morning. I'm like, what happens at 4 in the morning? I'm dead to the world at 4 in the morning. I don't know about you guys, but yeah, some people can do it. I can't. I'm not a morning person. I've never been a morning person. So for me to get up that early, But yeah, 8 o'clock, working at 8 o'clock. I still work from home, which is great, which does allow me to do stuff on the layout, right? So that's fun still. But, I've been very focused on the training of the new job, so it's going well. And it's very, very nerve-wracking because I've been doing the same job for 13 years. And when you do one thing for 13 years, it becomes like second nature. And you almost second guess yourself, every single time. So changing the role, changing what I do on a daily basis, it's really turned everything, you know, upside down crazy. So yeah, it's been quite an adjustment. So I've been working a lot down in this section here. You guys saw last month. Still, again, paper mill, you know, that 4 feet, right? Get every 4 feet done, or do 4 feet at a time. Hey, Greg, how's it going? Welcome, welcome. Yeah, so just kind of working 4 feet at a time here. You guys saw me put all this grass down. This is not permanent grass. I mean, it is permanent as in it's glued down. The ballast, however, it is still very much movable. And I'm just kind of moving stuff out of the way here now because I'm probably going to do some stuff here. I got glue bottles everywhere for some reason. I don't know why. I don't think I have enough glue, so I go and I buy a bunch of glue, and then I've got too much glue. I want to make those permanent too. Probably need to do something about that. Yeah, these are I got these recently. I think about, how long ago was that? A month and a half to 2 months. Just a couple of Procore. These are the Rapido. What are they called? Something or others. They have. See, my brain is mush. I can't even remember something as stupid as what goes in the car. Any other time I'm like, oh, it's boxcar. There's boxes in that car. So yeah, so this has been an area that I've... Which is my... Oh, it's this one. I can tell because when I shake it, it makes that sound. Okay. So I think for the most part, like the ballast here is okay, and I'm okay with it. Typically when I do ballast in an area where there's grass as well, I like to put this down, ballast over that, and then I will use my, whatever it's called, to make the grass a little bit more three-dimensional. I'm not going to do a large section, but I'm going to do enough here to make it look like I'm actually doing stuff. Because it gets very frustrating when you have a layout and then it takes you forever to do anything and get anything done. Okay, so I think that's pretty good. That's probably pretty soaked. That's the isopropyl. And I'm coming back with the 50/50. I know people use eyedroppers for this stuff, but I want to get it done today, you know? And it's nice because you can actually see. So when you put the alcohol on it, it'll absorb into the ballast. And that's important because you want the ballast to be nice and saturated. And when it goes and it saturates the ballast, and then you put your water glue, it gets right in there and it holds everything together. Bob's your uncle, and and it just works, and it works well. Now this will take a while for this to dry because it's, again, water and white glue. But I'm just doing a little bit at a time. You don't need to do a whole layout in a day. That would be very ambitious. Also, it's going to smell like alcohol down here for a couple of days or so. So that's also not great. But I have like a 3-day weekend coming up. So all I'll have to do is deal with it tomorrow. And then from there, it'll probably be dry by the end of the weekend. These larger area, like this right here, where it's all flat ballast, I find that those areas are harder to do than in between like rails and whatnot, because it's such a large area and you don't want it to pool, because it will be noticeable. Oh, it will be noticeable. Now, at the same time, I don't want to go too far with this as well, because I still got to do the main line. I mostly just wanted to do the industry itself, and just make sure that this is all taken care of here. Hey, Derek, how's it going? John? Are those fall product towers and rail kits, or did you scratch build? Oh, those the little the unloading loading racks. So I can I'll take you through this here and show you what exactly is what. Because there's there's a number of things that I use here as far as with the building. So the main building itself, this is Walthers. Obviously, you've seen the paper mill before. These here, you can get a set of 4. It's 2 loading and 2 unloading racks. This is from Walthers. Definitely not scratch built, but I built it into the side here. So when I lift this out, these actually, they're part of it. There's a giant platform under this. So that's all part of the same structure. Something like this here, that's Walthers. It's not even done being painted yet, but I'm sure I'll get to it. I've got some detail parts on here. So I've got Woodland Scenics lights. So there's little light lampposts. There is ITLA detail parts like this here and that over there. Mini prints. I've got security cameras. There's one there, one here, one up there. Again, you need to be super close to see it because they're mini. But yeah, something like that. Using a little bit of everything from different companies just to kind of bring the building together. That's kind of what you get. And I should probably put ballast on the inside there a little bit, but I don't know. I'll come up with something. And again, the building does light up. There are things, the little lights over the doors and whatnot do light up, so that's pretty cool. The fence, that's also Woodland Scenics. So that's, again, I mean, it's not very straight, but I put that in after I made the landform, so. But I mean, what fence is super straight when it's for an industry? I don't know. It was added later. Then we'll move down a little bit here. So you'll also notice, well, this is all cork, by the way. So I cut out cork squares, put plaster over them, and then I broke them, and then I put them back together, and I glued them down. So that's how I do my kind of concrete look here with that. And I used some Weathering FX engine. It's just and I make that look dirty. I did the same thing, just dry brushing on there, doing the cracks. And we come over this way a little bit here. So same thing with this here. This is a Walthers kit. This individual piece right here, that's just your concrete style modern warehouse. But I just turned it into a backdrop building. With the backdrop building, of course, I've incorporated another 2 different buildings. So this is the power building. Power, right? So I've basically taken both fronts, or one front from one side and one from the other, and I made it long, cutting it down the middle right here just to be able to splice them together. That's why it's so long. I put some of the sides from the buildings on there, of course. I don't know. I still don't know about the blue. Guys have told me to say, they've told me, leave it blue, it looks good blue. And I'm like, I don't know. Whatever. But yeah, so there's that. This building here is actually so this from here to here is the back part of the craft building. So again, you take the craft building, you cut the back of it off, make it a background building, and then I took the other half and made it part of this. So I still have stuff like this on here, right? I've got to paint that, add all the detail parts here. And then I've got, again, lights throughout. Woodland Scenics, the goosenecks are, you know, there's one on there, one on here, one right here on the side. You know, that is actually from the paper mill. I don't know if I'm leaving it there. The roof of this is actually foam core board, and then I've laid grip tape on it, or sandpaper, black sandpaper, as some people call it. It's lightweight, and I, you know, just cut it to the shape and then put it in place. There are supports on the inside there that hold it up. These all go like this. I've added graffiti, which these are all just decals. You know, I didn't do everything by hand. Some of it's decal. And then when you're doing buildings, and this is a really good thing to note, you've got doors on your building, right? Whether it's a small door like an entry door or a bay door or shipping and receiving. If you want to make your building seem bigger without even making the size of it bigger, that's the 9. That's number 9, and that's number 8. Okay? Where's number 7? Where's number 6? You don't know, but it does exist because that's the 9th door. Just saying. So don't start 1, 2, 3. So, you know, start somewhere in the middle. There's another door over there, and that's number 7 over there. So yeah, it's just a tip for you, just to make it seem a little bit more realistic if you want to take that route. As we move down this way, I gotta move all my stuff out of the way. I've got so much stuff everywhere. So this is another Walthers kit. This is actually 2 Walthers kits. So this here, I think this is the air purifier or air dryer, something like that. I can't remember what it's called. Same thing with this one. But it comes with a whole ventilation system. So I'm like, shoot, let me just put the ventilation system up to here. And there's a giant platform. So I put a fence around it, which I'm pretty sure the fence is Walthers. That's the Walthers fence. So sometimes when you buy certain kits, it comes with the little stringers and whatnot, and the mesh. So that's what that fence is there. That's the Walthers one, and I attached it going around the platform. So that's another 2 kits right there with the, yeah. And then of course the craft building, which is still not done because I have to, like, I've attached this part here to the roof. Obviously I got to paint that, attach that, and then the ladder for this as well needs to go on there. Yeah, this is actually from that kit over there, but I wanted to put it on here. I just thought it looked cooler up there. And then there's piping that comes off of that and then goes into there. I've got another kit here as well. This one's relatively new. Not to me. Well, to Walthers, kind of. It came out like a few years back. And I haven't painted or done anything with it yet. But basically what's going to happen with this is that this is going to go right here. And then we've got an elevator that's going to come up to here. And then an elevator that's going to go out that way. So, yeah. Again, most of the stuff, you see the stuff in the background. It does exist. And you got to work on the stuff at the back before you work on the stuff at the front. But, you know, that's kind of how it's going to look there. Unless I change my mind and I don't put this out at all. And in that case, I just make this land, you know, all trees and stuff and raise the land a bit and whatnot. I don't know. I think I should do this just so it makes sense. But I haven't really come to terms with that. I wanted to start at the back first, do that, and then go from there. But that was today's project. That getting this mostly done, I think, was was the key thing here today. But again, yeah, the whole paper mill lights up, and I think it looks cool when you turn off the lights and you press play, more or less. You just turn on all the lights, and eventually I'll do like a night running session where I just have the lights on, and then maybe I'll have my Jeep 9s that have a light show of their own going. I think that'd be really cool. Where are the pipes from? The pipes came with that kit. So you're probably talking about these pipes here. So the cool thing about this is that you get a whole bunch of different pipes, and there's two sizes. There's the smaller one, and then there's the bigger one. There's straights, there's Ys, and then there's other weird shaped ones, and then however you glue them together is basically how you would, is how you want it, right? So you can do it where it's just like you get rid of the Y. You just have the one pipe running right along, and then maybe that one goes down in. I don't know. Maybe you flip this over and then the smaller pipe comes out this way. I don't know. But yeah, this pipe system comes with this kit here. Again, that one's separate from this. But I like to combine kits, kit bashing and whatnot, kind of make them look like it's all one thing. I had this on my old layout because I used a very similar setup. And I even had a street light in here. It came up and then it would shine a light in here to give you, more light just in case. But yeah, this section here is not really done yet. You can tell that I did some weathering on it. There's, faded weathering and all that. You have it where it's mostly green, but a lot of the silver shines through, and then the piping itself is more silver. I need to add some rust and whatnot on there next. Hopefully some like dirt and grime as well. We'll see what happens. But yeah, it's so tough because you've got so many little things going on that, you're just kind of, doing just the brickwork on this took so long to do. And I only did 2 sides and it still took forever to do. So yeah, it happens, right? And then, you'll be working on one thing, like, doing the brickwork on that. That's fine. But then I want to do the, the walkway. And I don't know if I told you guys that I added this walkway here, like, I don't know. It was a few months back, but I've basically connected all of that together now. Eventually I'll have, maybe some barrels or something on there, maybe a skid of some sort. Just stuff along the side there that, is no longer needed, but they haven't really thrown out. I've got a trash bin here. This is like your regular sized trash bin that a truck can pick up with the doors on the front there. Maybe they throw garbage out the door there into that, and then they come and take it away. Could be like scrap or whatever. Who knows? But yeah, I just kind of placed that there. I'd like to put maybe a fence around that. I'm not too sure yet, though. I'm still kind of working things out with that. And then I've got like another set of stairs here that go up to that door. As you can see, I've got a plan. It's a matter of, implementing all these things, doing this, doing that. I have so many roof detail parts. I wonder if like all this here, like I've got these, smokestacks. I've got air conditioning units and whatnot. They all have to be painted, detailed, and then I can, add them on top as well as I go. But here I am just working on a parking lot. So yeah, it is what it is, but hey James, how's it going? Fine Valley, how's it going? Yeah, we're just kind of rounding things off here because it's 8:30 now, so I don't want to hold everyone up because I know that there's a lot going on with stuff, I guess. But yeah. No, I'm having fun. I had fun doing the parking lot thing there, and I'm glad that that part of it's done. I did relocate all my boxes of trees, so they're accessible right now. So I'm probably gonna find a tree eventually and put it in the little spot there once it dries. So that'll be good. Oh, James has been a member for 48 months, which is a total of 4 years. Well, James, you know I appreciate you. And I do want to do something real nice for my members real soon, especially those of you who are very consistent with it. So, no, I really appreciate the support. I don't normally advertise it, just because I do this mostly for fun. You know, that's why we're in this hobby. It's fun, right? But you know, when you guys do make the donations, like Dennis made a donation earlier, like that goes right back into this, and I'm able to, you know, do more, buy more string. Yeah. But you know, I can do more stuff like that, and projects, and you know, reviews. I had somebody leave a message the other day and said, do more unboxings. And I'm like, shoot, it has been a while since I've done an unboxing, huh? And yeah. You know, it oh, you don't have a wrench? I'll find you a wrench. I can't do it right now because I'm not on a thingy. I'm using my phone. If I was on the computer, I would have just done it. But yeah, so, you know, every little bit helps, and I appreciate all of you guys, and I appreciate everybody watching too. Even just watching, it helps. As I was saying before, you know, when it comes to doing the things like the video, the short a day, every day, if you guys ever want me to do a live, you know, expressing my thoughts on the, you know, on the effort that you put into something like that, and then what the return is, and you know, just the information that I've gathered, really just the statistics of it, because in a large way, I do find that YouTube is probably lying to you, and you know, when you see a channel that has, you know, let's say 1,000 people, right? If you have 1,000 viewers, is that really 1,000 viewers? It's hard to say, right? Because like I have videos that have been up for a really long time that have, you know, 10,000 views, and a lot of those videos that have a lot of views, it's because they've been up for a while. But then when you do shorts, shorts do bring in a lot of new subscribers. But do I think I'm getting 5 subscribers a day from doing it? I don't think so. I do see a lot of new people, and I do have a lot of people that comment that I've never seen before. And I get that quite often. But is it still 5 new people a day? It's hard to say. It's, yeah, it's very hard to say. I almost find it hard to believe it in some cases. So, but we're getting there. I might actually end up hitting 4,000 at some point, which is pretty good, because you know, that's what I'm looking to do. I look to grow the channel and meet new people, new like-minded individuals that do model railroading, that enjoy model railroading. And I like to see what they're up to as well, right? A lot of you guys share your stuff, and I do like to watch a lot of your videos. So, the Drifter, how's it going? Where's Trackside Mike was here earlier. You missed him. Yeah. But yeah, he's around probably. I think he's still working. That guy works too much, and I complain that I work too much. He works more than I do, so. If you do an unboxing, hope you will go faster than Heath. Yeah, I don't tend to drag it on, you know. I get to the point, you know. I don't know if you've ever seen any of my unboxings, but you know, I'll do specific videos just for one. one product, or if I've got a couple of different versions of the one product, then I try to give as much information as I can. The bots are watching. I don't know. Like the bots are in the background there. You'll have days where you don't gain any subscribers, but then you lose like 5 or 6. And I think that's the bots being removed. Unless you've said something to upset a lot of people, there's a really good chance that they're just bots that have decided to be removed from your account. But yeah. It's all good, Wigwag. You got a life. You do your thing. I've been watching some of your videos too. But you haven't posted. I don't think you've posted in a while though. Yeah. No, it's been pretty dull around here. I gotta be honest with you. It's I post the videos every single day. Well, a lot of them are posted, and like I said, I hit video number 100 the other day. So since the beginning of July, up until even today, I think today was 101 or 102, something like that. So hitting a milestone of 100 videos in a row. Pretty crazy. So, and I'm going to keep going. I had some requests throughout the several months there for certain things. And because I pre-film or pre-record a lot of it, it's not like I can do it for the following day or within a week, because everything is already scheduled and posted and ready to go. So, but I only do so much at a time. When I film it, I usually film about 10 at a time, because I try to stay as organized as possible. And just with the way that I am, right? Like I can show you, like I keep my little book, and going from July, and everything's numbered, right? July, August continued, September, and I number it out, and I plan what car is going to go on what day. And like I said, every 10 days I'll have a locomotive, and I try to so if I do, let's say in August, right, I did on the 10th day I did the F40 Kool-Aid, but on the 20th day I did a Jevo. So I'm not going to do an F40 and then the next loco is an F40. I try to mix it up as much as I can. And when there's cars like my Go Transit cars, my barrel ore cars, you're going to see a lot of those more often, even though I'm never duplicating the same number. You're always getting a different number. So everything is accurate to what I'm saying, in the sense where I'm adding a new car to the layout every day. Every single car is a different number. I'm never duplicating. So I'm not exaggerating the fact that, yes, there is actually 100 cars on my layout right now. With the locomotives, I say I'm adding the locomotives to my layout, but in reality, I show it and then I put it back in my display case. That's just how I like to store my stuff. I don't ever keep my locomotives out. That's just how I am though. So, and I'm going to keep going September, October, November, and then I've got stuff marked down for December and whatnot. So, but I haven't filmed any of December yet. So, yeah. I could potentially get to 200 cars. I'm not sure how far that'll take me though, month-wise, just because I haven't really mapped it out that far. But I do have till December 31st of this year. So I think I'm just missing a couple of cars here and there and a couple of locomotives that I do want to do as fillers. And then I still have more ore cars, because I think I have close to 50 ore cars, probably about like maybe closer to 40. But that's like a month and a few, of ore cars, if I just did ore cars. So obviously, there's going to be a spattering of them, a little salt and pepper, if you will, pepper them in. Congrats on 100 videos. Thank you. This is probably like the longest marathon. I'd call it a marathon, that I've ever done. Not that I do marathons, but yeah, this is just one of those things, and I want to make it entertaining. I am organized. I try to pride myself on certain things. If you're going to be organized, if you're going to do something, do it right, and be smart about it, right? I didn't want to do ore car. It just the only problem that I'm having is that as soon as I run out of room, which is very, very soon, some of those cars are going to have to come off the layout. I haven't really been to the club or anything, so I haven't needed to remove any cars to take with me, which has also kind of been a blessing in disguise, because, take them off, put them back. It's just... I have my carrying cases, but yeah, it's loading, unloading. It's a lot, especially if you have, over 100 cars, right? I don't take them all with me, but yeah. What rail car are you saving for the last one? I hope I don't have a last one. I hope I get to a point where, like if I can make it a full year, 365 cars, that would be amazing. Because it's not technically 365 cars. There's this, spattering of locomotives in there. Things have been kind of dry lately as far as buying new stuff. Like I showed you guys those silver kind of hopper. Sodium chloride. Wow. Okay, so yeah, they have sodium chloride in them. These ones. I bought 2 of these a couple of months back, and that's really like the only purchase that I've made recently. I know. You caboose guys are killing me with your new cabooses. It's killing me. Yeah. I'm waiting for the tail end card to my charger set to come in, which is supposed to be in either October or November. And because that car, well, for some reason, the Bachmann sets are already expensive. But for some reason, because it's a sound car and it lights up, they decided to make it like $300. And that's not even because of the T word. It's just because it's an expensive car. Again, I don't know why, but I need it to complete the set. So there's that. And that's kind of what I've been waiting for. The Lumi, which is the yellow version of the Charger set. I mean, I told my wife, I'm just like, I will simply die if I do not get this locomotive and this set. And she said, well, it was nice knowing you. You will be missed. And I'm like, don't do this, because I need that set. It's an important set. I don't buy a lot for myself, but when I do, it's going to be something decent, or something I need, or it's my birthday. I don't know. Either one. Take your pick. But that should be in like January-ish, hopefully. January, February, if I'm lucky. I mean, it's got to at least leave the warehouse before the end of February, because then they go into shutdown for Chinese New Year. So it'd be nice if it showed up for March, just in time for my birthday. Then I've got excuses, right? But we'll see what happens. That and the new SD40-2Ws from Bowser. I don't know where those are, when those are showing up. They look fantastic, but I know it's going to be like 400 a unit, and I'm like, man, I don't know if I'm the only other one here that my wallet is suffering, but like, yeah, some of these, even the Caboose, I'm like, I only need one. You know, if I got one, I'd be happy. I don't need all of them, maybe just one. And the ballast cars, I've had my eye on those orange CN ballast cars as well. But just haven't had a chance to get any of it. So, and then of course with Christmas coming up, you know, when you have kids, you put your family and whatnot before, you know, all your other little things, right? So yeah, so things have just been kind of on hold in the buying department. It's just how it is, right? It's not the end of the world, but you know, I can still run lots of other stuff. I got tons of stuff on the layout. Been working on the other side of the layout a little bit as well, but I'm still, you know, I'm really working on it because it's not working. And I'm not talking about the main line. I'm talking about like branch line and, you know, for industries and whatnot. So we'll see what happens, but, you know, I'm kind of getting there. But, yeah. So in case I didn't mention, Third Rail Thursday, which you're watching Third Rail Thursday. The first week, which is Denny. Denny was live last week. He always does a great job. Always makes it very themed and whatnot, especially with the, you know, it being spooky season right now. For myself, I'm always the second week. That's why you're here. Next week, and I think it's next week. Mark, if you're still in the chat, let me know, or if you're paying attention, if you haven't fallen asleep. Mark should be next week. And then I believe we have an extra Thursday, so I don't know what's happening yet for that. And then, of course, GBO After Dark at the end of the month. We're supposed to do a Halloween show because it's a couple of days before Halloween or the day before Halloween, something like that. I don't have my calendar in front of me, so I can't really answer that. Chris, are you going to get the new Rapido CN maintenance cars? Oh, see, that's another one. See, I got excited when I saw it, and then I saw the price, and I was no longer excited. You know, such as with most things. I wouldn't mind one flat car with the wheels, just for, you know, almost like static display. Oh, who's the first week? Denny. Who is, his name is N-Scale Dystopia. We can't seem to get rid of the N-Scalers. First it was Tim, and then now it's Denny. I don't know. We're trying to make this an all-HO show. I'm just playing. Denny's great. You should definitely check out Denny. But yeah, so what was I saying? Oh yeah. The Rapido announcements. Yeah, which, I mean, I was really surprised by it. I mean, they've done similar cars before, and I think they're doing as much with the flat car tooling as they can. They're really going to squeeze it. But that's why, you know, they pick certain items, right? For example, if you're going to do a bi-level car, you know, what road names can we do? Well, we're going to do all the road names because, you know, someone's probably going to want it. So, but yeah, so there's that. And, so yeah, like I was saying, I want to get a flat car with the wheels, the spare wheels, just for static display near the machine shop or the workshop, their repair shop, I should say, for my locomotives. And then, as for the flat car with the, like it's a Mo train, right? Like the little houses on there. I wouldn't mind, like, you know, 3 or 4 of them. I'm not sure how accurate they are. Like if it's the same style that I've seen in person. I'd have to look at it a bit closer just to kind of see. Yeah. Bachmann did the Lumi scheme in HO, but not in N-Scale yet. No, they're supposed to also, because I spoke with them when I was there in Springfield this past year, so in January, and they said that the order of things is they want to. So the first set that they had released, so the locomotive, which I think was 2200, yeah, number 2200. They wanted to produce more of those, and then the 4 cars, so 2 coach, 2 business, and because they didn't feel like they made enough from the first run. So they wanted to produce more of those. They wanted to do the tail end car, or cab car, or however you want to call it, and that completes the 1 set. The next set to come out would be the Lumi set, which is all yellow. But the N-Scale version, it should be in production right now, and it's a replica of the HO first set they did. But once Lumi comes in, and they said that they made some revisions on it, so I'm hoping that the revisions are good, mostly with the coupler and whatnot. After that, after the Lumi has been delivered, they're going to go back to the other scheme, the original Charger set, and they're going to do different numbers. So more locomotives, more cars, and then especially with these rules that are being put into place now with Via Rail, they need to have longer trains. So I think that adds another 2 cars to the pre-existing sets. Now, I don't know if they've done that in real time yet, but that's something that they're looking to implement. So they're going to need more cars on their Charger sets as well. At least 2, I believe. So apparently it has to do with the amount of wheel sets. But yeah, there was no Lumi set announced in N-Scale yet. I think they want to wait to see how well the first set does to say, okay, yeah, let's do a Lumi. And then we'll do more numbers of that in N-Scale. Tim's around. I don't think he's doing as much with the train stuff right now. But I know that he posted recently, maybe a few weeks ago. Bubs is in the military, and I've been talking to him, but he's overseas, so or he's on duty, I guess you could say. But he's doing well, and he says hi, everybody, and I'm sure we'll see or hear from him soon, hopefully. And then yeah, I know he's excited to get back and start running some trains. So, but yeah. So I'm going to wrap things up there. It's 9 o'clock. I've overstayed my welcome, and hopefully you guys had fun. I know I did, and I got to clean up my mess because I work right here. I work tomorrow, so I can't have any of this distraction around, right? But next week we'll be over on Mark's channel, and again, look to the new year, because hopefully we're coming back to Sunday mornings. The brunch build might just be back on. I'm going to leave you with that thought. And we hope everybody has a great Thanksgiving. Guys, I'm thankful for you. I'm thankful for my family. I'm thankful for this hobby. It's good. It's good. I know that the Americans, of course, you guys don't have Thanksgiving till November, but hey, you guys are still great. I'm thankful for all you guys. You guys have yourselves a great